our invitation and welcome to Best Fall Trading Strategies. If everything is all set on your side, you have the mic right now.
Thank you very much, Anka and David, for inviting me to be presenting here. I am really delighted to do this presentation on improving your trading mind and reading the charts with clarity and independent vision. And you'll see in a moment what I mean by this. First of all, quick word about the risk disclosure, which you can find on mentalstrategiesfortraders.com. Please read it, because as you know, trading is risky and you can lose more money than you have in your account. For those of you who don't know me, I trained at Commerzbank in Germany and realized very early on in my career that banking wasn't for me, but I was certainly very excited about being in the stock exchange. In those days, you could actually go on the floor and it was exciting. Anyway, so after my stint at Commerzbank, I worked mainly in the personal development field with military personnel, helping them in transition periods from the military into Civvy Street, which was a very, very enjoyable time in my life. And then since 2001, I've traded my own account and have coached professional and independent traders since 2006, helping them improve their mental game to trade better. As you can see, I'm basically all about the mental side of things because it's key to whatever you do. My trading coaching focuses on merging the three-dimensional world of neuroscience, the science of quantum physics, with the esoteric teachings of the wisdom traditions. And I've studied NLP, Huna, Zen, and a number of healing techniques in which I am certified. And that has helped me tremendously in overcoming many of my own demons. And believe you me, if it's in the book, I've done it. So we'll be discussing the missing link about trading excellence, your untrained brain in a trade, how it behaves, and which will also basically give you clues why your trading performance often sucks. And then we'll be having a look at how robust your trading strategy really is, and the connection between your trading mind and your spiritual mind. And then we'll look at the vital difference between flow, creativity, and vision, above all vision, versus pure focus. So, and then we look at, the tools that help you to improve your trading mind. And these are tools that last for a lifetime if you stick with them and learn to do them properly. So the missing link that stops you from excellence, in a nutshell, it's a deeper understanding of mastery, which I know most traders, including yours truly, were lacking, because we think we can go to the game of trading and hey presto, everybody else has to go to university and learn things. But no, I mean, trading, you can do that in a month or two, and you'll be, in 6 months, you'll be a multimillionaire. You're probably blown 3 accounts by that time. So anyway, obviously I am not talking about your trading system, as I've already alluded to, at least not right now, but we are talking about your relationship with yourself, because how you see yourself from deep within, so you see the charts and the world on the outside, because what you see on your charts is who you are deep down, and not the other way around. So an understanding of universal laws is basically the absolute key to controlling your life. And as traders, of course, we all like to control. Now, there is no such thing as any control whatsoever out there other than the illusion that you control things. But if you understand universal law and how it really, really works, and then learn how to take that knowledge and apply it in your own life and work at it so that it becomes automatic, so that you don't have to think about it anymore, that it becomes a part of you. That is, in my book, the most important missing piece to excellence. So now here's what most people are doing. As I said, I'm not talking at you, I'm not talking down to you. I've been through everything I am sharing here. I've done it all myself. And the tools I'm using are the tools which I've learned, that work and help me to become not only more consistent in my trading in all markets and in all market conditions, but basically becoming a happier human being. So now basically, this is your brain. This is how you trade up here. But the untrained mind thinks it's trading with all this. So that's, the first big thing here. So the essence of your master trading mind actually is that it is not limited, rather it is creative and self-generating, it is intelligent and knows itself, it is above all loving and compassionate, it knows and sees what the linear mind simply cannot know or see, and you'll understand in a moment why. It experiences itself as source, and that is source, the essence of who we are, and oneness. While you have your focus on outside circumstances like the size of your account, avoiding losers, and so on, you cannot possibly tune into your own psyche, and mastery will elude you because your mind contains everyone's ideas of how things must be, but your own. And let's face it, we are all unique. So basically, your master trading mind is driven from within. And there is no thing on the outside. And that's the big thing to get. Your conscious poor pigeon brain, and I apologize to the pigeon, thinks basically that it must process large amounts of data very quickly in the linear mind, know where the market is going, constantly make sound trading decisions on incomplete information, must be in a trade at all times, particularly those of you who are intraday traders know what I'm talking about. The idea not to have a bias basically is a major challenge to the linear mind because it can only think in known and measurable terms. And yet you are not aware of that fact. And that is another huge challenge you have to overcome, becoming aware of the things you are basically not aware of. And that part of it is huge. So basically, your mind is a bit like this. There you are, long, short, oh dear, no direction. Sitting is very uncomfortable for the linear mind and for the body. We'll talk about that a bit more in a moment. And of course, as we all know, the world is in chaos at the moment, wherever you look. So, and of course, your mind is in chaos. And let's face it, when everything is in chaos around you, well, it's okay to be in chaos too, isn't it? We have an excuse here in the UK. For those of you who don't know me, by the way, I'm in the UK. I mean, Brexit is being screamed of every rooftop, every 5 minutes. It's a news story on, off. And I mean, frankly, it's a joke. You cannot possibly put your attention on all this nonsense. You got to ignore it. And for your trading, ultimately, it is totally meaningless, other than, of course, you get these news spikes and, of course, price reacts. Very short term. Basically, let's look at your untrained brain, what it does in a trade in very basic terms. It goes into default survival mode. That's it. The moment you are in a trade, reason goes out of the window, the alert levels of the brain go up, and you are now focusing on defending your position, or rather your brain does, and you have to defend yourself at all costs, that's survival, instead of focusing on the inner process. The problem with that is that when you are in survival mode, it's time to fight or to run away, and it's certainly no time to create. And as traders, ultimately, we are creators, because trading is not just a science. It is partially a science, but ultimately it's a creative, it's an intuitive, it's a visionary process, and you have to be in alignment with this. And when you are in survival mode, you are not in alignment with anything, but you are completely focusing on how to survive. And that's how most traders trade. When, as I said, in survival, you just stop thinking rationally. So this is your brain in a trade, and the heat in the brain literally goes up So, when you're relaxed, you could be almost too relaxed until you learn how to get into a state where you are mentally in a meditative state while also be very, very alert. You can learn this. We come to that later. But normally, this is what you do. You are thinking, oh my God, is my stop in the right place? Oh, it's about to be hit. Oh, one tick away from the stop. What am I going to do? And so on and so forth. I mean, you all know the form, how it works. So it doesn't help you. And that's really, the moment something happens that is not how you anticipated, you go into this panic mode or very close to panic mode. Again, the thing here is most traders are so immersed into that habitual state of being that they are totally, I nearly said blissfully, but obviously it's not very blissful, but they are unaware of it. They just don't realize what they are doing. So here, survival versus creation. When you're in survival, you can't create. You either lack vision or you have tunnel vision. Your brain dumbs down because the neurons don't fire together correctly. Intelligence level decrease, and you become more influenced by outside events because you simply cannot clearly, you are disconnected from yourself. Each time you can't think, you are in a program, just like a computer. Your mind actually is not an independent thinker. It's learned for thousands of years to operate on its programs, and that is called conditioning. And each time your mind defaults to its programs, it goes literally unconscious. And when you are unconscious, of course, you are unaware. You become fearful, rudderless, and prone to follow some authority figure outside of yourself. And usually that leads to making wrong trading decisions. So what are mental programs? Basically, all programs are limiting and contracting because they can only function from the reference points which are already in your linear mind, and there is no creativity and no vision. When your mental programs take over, and they have been installed in you, by the way, from thousands of years ago, and that's yet another story, but they stop you from moving effortlessly towards your desires, like trading excellence, and basically like having a joyful, happy life. Why do we trade? Not because we want to make life difficult for ourselves. Rather, we want more time, we want more fun, and obviously more money. So all programs get activated by triggers, and these triggers are usually unconscious. The triggers are three things. They are emotional, they are time, and they are energetic. And I could say actually that emotions and energy, obviously they are very closely linked. Here is not the time to go into the difference between the two. So for example, timing example here, when markets move very quickly, that can trigger survival fears. You get in too early, out too quickly, blah, blah, blah. And that's why intraday trading is so tough. And that is also why waiting for trades can be very tough and can cause excessive doubt and fear. Now, the trading strategies for survivors typically are over-optimization, stops too tight, too many indicators, way too many trades. You're not here to make money for your broker. You are here to make money for yourself. Incorrect risk-reward strategies, wrong time frames, usually a scalper mentality when probably you are not a scalper deep down. Scalping has got to be learned, and that is a mental training first and foremost. So remember one thing here, Darwin's law of survival of the fittest is actually plain incorrect. It's a basic lie, we know that now. So survival mentality actually is a very low level of consciousness, and by that I mean you have blinkers. You basically, survival modes shut off parts of the brain because you see your charts and everything on them through filters. You don't see everything that is on the charts. You just see in tunnel vision tiny little areas and think they are real, and you think you are seeing the whole picture when you are not. So since most traders are still stuck in survival mode in their trading, they obviously have a hard time getting that they are missing vital clues which have in a way seemingly nothing to do with trading, that could actually improve their trading quite dramatically. So, and it's this immersion into their states, in their perceptions, thinking they are real and thinking that they are the only thing. And that is the very thing that creates this tunnel vision, and you cannot see any opportunities in trading lingo. So anxiety causes brain incoherence. The left and the right sides of the brain stop communicating with each other. The blood supply moves from the brain to the legs and other fight or flight centers of your body, and your breathing, above all, gets even shallower, pulling energy out of the cells, and basically the system begins to gradually shut down and leaving you totally de-energized and unable to make decisions. And because obviously you're sitting in front of your screen where you can't run or fight, so what do? You take another trade, you move your stop, overanalyze your trades, get very fidgety, waiting, you get angry with yourself, the mind goes into the past. Oh, that happened the other day, and what happened to the S&P yesterday? Let's have a quick look. And of course, whilst you are looking on a daily chart or whatever, the trade you've been waiting for hours has passed you by. So, of course, the other thing is you just don't take your trades. Here is your poor little overheated brain. It does that. It's all over the place. Now, the trained trading mind is actually empty. As I said before, there is, really not much there. And that concept, that whole idea, is very alien to, I would say, 98% of all traders. They just have no idea because they have never experienced it. So the comfort mind of your zone, the comfort zone of your mind, of course, is called indicators and backtesting. Your mind defaults to what it thinks it knows, and that's a lot, and I'm being quite facetious here. And remember that the linear mind evaluates reality from what it knows. I said this a bit early on. It assumes that it can accurately predict future outcomes when it can't, because it only knows what it knows. What happens in the future, it hasn't happened yet, it feels different, looks different. The linear mind cannot possibly know how that works, has no concept. Thinks it has, but it has no concept. Instead, ego judgment, analytical thinking, fear of the unknown, criticism, those are comparisons, another one, are the territory of the linear mind. And of course, the activity of trading uses the linear mind as its dominant processing tool. And that is rather like building a house on sand, and here it is, your mind in a trade. A picture speaks louder than 1,000 words. Right, the lure of Newtonian physics. The universe works in predictable ways, and we have proof of this, of course. Therefore, we can predict the markets all the time. Well, if only. Traders lose money because they still think causally and use systems that evaluate the cause of a price move from the past. Yet the universe is random, and you cannot argue with me, even if you try. I have read up on all the science on this. So if you think the universe is not random, go and do your homework. It's not governed by cause and effect or the past. That is total BS. Therefore, what happened yesterday does not necessarily repeat tomorrow. It can under certain circumstances, but it certainly cannot do so in predictable, measurable ways. Yet you lead your life repeating what you did yesterday. Everybody does that. You do what you did yesterday, the week before, the month before, and unless you begin to see your life, the world, and reality from a different perspective, you're going to continue doing it. But why do we do this? It's comfort zone. It is predictable, and come on, we all like predictability. Yours truly too. So change basically is actually, it's a dirty word. Fact: cycles only repeat because of one single thing. And I know this is hard to take in for those of you who've not been sort of introduced to this material for a while, so you just have to take my word for it. But cycles only exist and only repeat because the large majority of people insist on thinking the same thoughts. Our beliefs and nothing else brought the universe into existence. I know this is big, guys, but there is nothing else. Fact, your conditioned mind is programmed to resist change and stay as it is. It does not know how progress works. It wants to be shown the results of the future now, in this moment. Instant gratification is another word for this. This simple neurological fact has been used by advertisers, authority figures for millennia. And the entire financial system works on it. And that's why your brain is so cluttered up like this. You think, the future, you think about the past, you just don't ever stay in the present moment because it's so dark there, isn't it? Right, a clean and clear mind. Your mind, of course, is wedded to drama. That's why you like trading. And your linear mind thrives on excitement because it's been programmed to do so. And your linear mind has learned to live 90% of your trading life in survival mode, because basically your linear mind lives life on survival. And what you do in your trading, you will do in other areas of your life too. That is just plain simple how it works. This principle is also called transference. And here is a clue for you. If you have a behavior which you repeat on a regular basis in trading, look at other areas of your life. And this is, one of the mindfulness tools and awareness expansion tools I teach all my private coaching clients, and lead them to see where else they are doing this. And you will be amazed what you discover. So basically 90% of excitement are, well, simply put, BS stories. By the way, BS stands for belief systems. So now, of course, the idea is how to move from duality to a non-dualistic life. And of course, that sounds very boring, I know. And trading, guys, should be boring. And I know that is quite frightening to the mind, because the mind is always out there. It's not inside of you, it's out there all the time. And society has set us up to feel comfortable with this, in spite of all the overwhelm we may be experiencing. So let's ask, where do you create your trades? Well, of course, you create your trades not from your indicators, not from your trading system, but it's all inside. And I hope that by now that you're beginning at least to get a little bit of an idea where we are really going with all this, and why I am sort of harping on about this from all different areas, just to get you to see, that, I haven't made this stuff up, right? Okay, so making the work on your inner game a priority of your trading plan obviously is still frowned upon, because first of all, if you can't see it, you can't measure it. And that, of course, is Newtonian physics. And as we've already said, Newtonian physics has been proven to be largely incorrect. So for the mind to accept a new concept, it has to be presented with that, would you believe, at least 51 times before it even begins to register as being worthy of your attention. By the time you get to actually act on it, do something about it, a lot more time goes by. This is basic sort of learning 101. The mind learns much, much slower than you think. At least the conscious mind learns very, very much slower than you think. And it's just something you have to be aware of, and be willing, if you're at the right level in your development as a trader, then you will be willing to take different measures and add new tools to your trading plan. So basically, it's the bits you cannot see which have the most relevance in trading. And here I'm talking about the subtle energy field. And actually, this is quite a different kind of excitement. I often call it Adventures in Consciousness, which it really is. Well, okay, you have got trading back to front, because if you still think that change is created in the three-dimensional reality, you are wrong. All change, all of it, whatever you do, wherever you are in life, it originates in the subtle energy field first. And by the time you see your creations in three-dimensional form, you have reached the end of the creative cycle. The trend is over. You are ready for something new, actually. You know, that's the reality of it. And because you are a genius mind that creates. That is the real essence of you. It's the core you are, and yet we tend to fight it. Because as of what I said before, you know, we like things to be stable. We like things to be the same. We like things to be predictable. Well, actually, the universe is the most unstable place there is. And if you like, that is part of the magic of the universal creation, that in spite of this inherent instability, which can be observed everywhere if you know where to look, it appears stable. And there are periods of what we call normality. Normality is the trend. Normality is when energy isn't moving, yet energy needs to move in order to stay alive. You cannot add to energy, you cannot take away from it, you can only raise your vibrational frequency, or you can lower it. There is nothing else. And in that sense, the universe is actually what we call a closed system, even though it is infinite and expansive. Within that infinity and expansion, it is closed. So yeah, okay, I'm going a bit deep here, just had to say that. Right, okay, you constantly are working at the end of the cycle. This is what I am trying to get you to understand here. You're looking at your indicators, you're doing your back testing, and you're trying to forecast where it's going to go tomorrow, in a month's time, in a year's time, planning, preparing for the big event. Market's going to fall off a cliff tomorrow morning, you know, and all this stuff. This is all survival stuff. And you are constantly running ahead of yourself, looking at the end of the cycle, front-running your brain, let alone front-running your trades. So basically what you are doing, I could also say, instead of changing matter in the subtle energy field, what you are doing, which is, by the way, the fastest way of changing things, what you are doing, you are changing matter with matter. And that is very laborious. It's tedious, and it takes a very long time. I am not saying it doesn't work. It does work. But hey, the energy is speeding up. We are having less time these days. That's the perception, at least. Whether it's true is a different matter, but that's how it feels. So who wants to be there? Whoops, I've gone a little bit too quickly here. So, right. Okay, sorry about that. Right, now this is little illustration of what I mean. The end of the trend. This is where people buy. Let's assume there is the end of the trend. You know, you want to buy here, the beginning of the trend, people buy here. Obviously, they don't have the right stop in place. And boom, you know, they get a nasty surprise. And I have seen this so often. I used to do that kind of thing at the beginning of my trading as well. And why do we do this? The reason we do this is because we want confirmation. We want confirmation that we are right. Where do you look for the confirmation? Well, of course, you are looking outside of yourself. So you're going to your analytical tools. You look at complex models, and the more complex the models become, the more you go into your analytical mind, and the more dualistic you become, and you are stopping the energy flow dead in its track, and it leads to making trading mistakes. And I know it is still largely practiced today, but you know, that model is becoming very, very quickly outdated. And I know a lot of it is being taken over by A1, which is another discussion here. I am totally against it for quite a number of reasons. One of them being that it totally stops you from thinking and being in the flow and learning what you should be learning, which is namely how to read the charts and how to read them quickly. I mean, you should be able to go through any chart in any time frame, boom, 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 like this, and see what's on the chart. And it's a little bit like, so when you are learning to fly, in the old days, you had to learn to glide. All military personnel, and I've worked with a lot of pilots, military pilots when, you know, I was working with military people. Now, they had to learn to glide. Why? Because in case of engine failure, you had to look out for a field, you had to know what your machine feels like, and you had to be able to balance your machine and land it on the ground. And I've personally done quite a bit of flying as well, and gliding. And believe you me, it's something, it gives you a sense of security, and it becomes automatic, and you go and you scan, and you know, you don't go into this fight or flight mode the moment something goes wrong. And this is why bog standard, old-fashioned chart reading skills are so vital. It's the foundation. If you use the most sophisticated trading system, I really don't care. If you don't have sound chart reading skills, you will never ever be a master trader. I know these are harsh words, but you know, I've got to say it. Okay, I think I missed one chart here. No, I have not. Right, okay. So I think by now it may become clear that actually all cycles are energy, because the beginning of a cycle, you can't see it. Well, you can actually, if you know what to look for, you can both see it and feel it. But unless you really know what you're looking for, you know, it becomes a bit more esoteric, because it happens purely and simply in the subtle energy field, and we are now into the realm of feeling. And as I've said before, energy cannot be added to, and it can't be deducted from. It can only change frequency. And when you look at the markets, actually, trading in and of itself, if you understand how the auction works, isn't that difficult, because you only got 3 things. Well, you may have 4 things actually. You have got support, you have resistance, which means obviously price goes up into resistance level, down into a support level. You have sideways movements, and you have, of course, you have a 4th thing, and that is overextension. So, you know, reversal to the mean trades are one of my favorite trades, actually. So that is, in order to be good at this, gauge when this happens. That's a feeling thing. As I said, energy cycles are energy. They are nothing else. By the time you see it, the cycle has already developed sort of quite a lot. And when you get into that trade at that point, you are probably getting in quite late, when you should be in much, much earlier, and with much, much lower risks and a much higher possibility of taking more money out of the market. I mean, that's my way of looking at trading. I know it's not everybody's style, but it just happens to be my style, and it works for me, and it works for the people I have worked with and taught. So if you can feel and read energy, you could actually predict new market cycles very early on. That's it in a nutshell. Because what you do, you tune into the energy shift, you feel it. You don't need any complicated analysis for it, because what goes on in the world doesn't have anything to do with it. Energy precedes the material world in the 3-dimensional realm. So tuning in always means, of course, aligning with universal energies. And that means that the conditioned mind that thinks it knows how things must be and can be and should be has got to be quieted down. So learning how to use new mental modalities. If you were to employ a modality which would bring the unseen into your conscious awareness, your trading would actually change overnight for the better. You would focus with vision and creativity and intuition, I should have put that in there, instead of focusing with tunnel vision, which most of you do. You didn't see, you'd see more on the charts, you'd trade better, and of course you would have more free time because you take your trades, there's no second guessing, you do your stuff, you don't exert mental and physical energy, which could be employed to, well, you know, I don't know, go walking the alpacas or whatever. So of course your decision making would obviously improve dramatically, be much, much faster. Stress levels would come right down, and your general well-being, of course, would go up tremendously because, you know, there'd be less pressure. You know, you just feel more whole, you feel more one, you feel more in tune with yourself and the cycles you are trading. Oops, there was that chart. Here, brain incoherence, which is the big culprit. This is what happens. If the brain and the heart are not in coherence, the energy flow to the higher energy levels is blocked, and it looks like this. By contrast, when the brain is in coherence and the heart and the brain are aligned, the energy flows very, very harmoniously, and you feel it in your body, and you can see that in this here, you know, it's expansive. It wants to come out, wants to go out, and then you become an influencer. When your energy field goes out into that area, it has actually the power to influence this energy field. And I don't know if any of you have been in the presence of any of the great masters. I've had the privilege to be in the presence of one or two, and it is amazing. I can tell you that much. You can just sit there, you soak up the energy. It takes you over. They don't have to say anything. You know, just being there is totally different ball game. So the new modality is brain and heart incoherence. So neuroscience 101, the heart has a separate brain. Neuroscience fact number 2, 102 shall we call it, when the heart and the brain are connected, positive synchronicities occur, and that's the magic. You spot the right trades, your timing is intuitively right, you suddenly get this feel, you go and get your cup of coffee, you think, the phone rings, no, can't answer the phone yet, I've got to go back to the screen right now, and boom, there is your trade, and you are in that right frame of mind to take it. You know, and this is the difference, because you kind of feel and sense your trades before they occur. And this, by the way, is a scientific fact. There's been a lot of research done on this. Your body is a, shall we say, it's a conduit. It's like an antenna, and it knows things before they happen. So, and now let's look at how robust your trading strategy is. We have already said that because your brain is mostly in survival mode when you are trading, so is your trading strategy. You know, we looked at what the trading strategies for most traders look like, because they are driven from survival instead of being driven from opportunity. So let me ask you, are your charts designed to keep you aligned with the pulse of the market, or are your charts designed to make you trade mechanically? I bet you $1,000 it's the latter. Can you explain your trading strategy to me in 3 short sentences? That's very important. I mean, I've worked with private coaching clients on this. I have worked with clients on this who are professional traders, and even they have difficulty explaining in 3 sentences what they do. And, you know, some come out with these, you know, very interesting sounding theories about what should happen, how it happens, algos, blah, blah, blah. You should be able to explain your strategy in 3 simple sentences. And if you can't do it, the odds are you are not fully aligned, meaning heart, body, soul, everything with your trading strategy. There will be a disalignment. The mental sweet spot is brain coherence. A coherent mind works at optimum performance if you work less hard on improving your trading and more on improving mental coherence while you trade. That's the thing. Your trading will improve. Yeah, I guarantee it. I know it. It cannot do anything else. Hard work and focus on the wrong things stop brain coherence, because you're working too hard, basically. And when you're working on the right things, mainly on the inner game, you are inducing brain coherence. So if you spend time on experiencing brain coherence and learn to become really good at it, you would soon wonder why you ever resisted the new strategy so much. And I know there is a lot of resistance there, because there was a lot of resistance before I learned it. Sometimes we don't even know that we are in resistance. You see, that's the big crux of the matter. Here are some key elements of a robust trading strategy. First of all, first and foremost, it works in all markets and in all time frames. Yes, the Nasdaq operates differently from the S&P, so the DNA may be different, but the laws ultimately are the same. So you must have a strategy. If it's really robust, it'll work in all markets and all time frames. It will have a clearly defined scalable risk strategy. And that is something I'm very, very big on risk, very, very strict. And that is a law that should never, ever, ever, ever be broken. A robust trading strategy looks at the risk factor of you, that is your psyche, your personal makeup, first and foremost, not a sharp ratio, because your risk factor alters every day. We are not machines. You know, one day you are hot, and you know, some days you are not. See, that's the reality of the human condition. A good, sound, robust strategy allows you, obviously, to spot trades easily and quickly, and it should have no more than a maximum of 5 rules. Why? Because the brain can't handle more than looking at 5 things under pressure in quick fire fashion. Just can't do it. There's been a lot of research done on that as well. So no more than 5 trading rules. Now here is a chart that happened, was it on Wednesday or Thursday? I can't remember. Now, that's a clean chart. Now, I use a bit of market profile. I use NinjaTrader. This is NinjaTrader's market profile, NinjaTrader 8. I like it very, very much. Frankly, you don't need anything else. I won't go into this now because I've already given you in general terms what a good trading strategy should look like. And I mean, here everything is there, everything you need to know and to trade off. And this is basically something, you know, I'm teaching in the Awaken the Inner Master Trader. It's a weekly membership, which is on my website, where sort of you guys, you know, we get together, you know, and learn to trade in a meditative mind. Do that every Monday morning. So brain coherence is the golden trading key, not your system. I can't stress this often enough. I'll be saying this until I'm blue in the face. And if only one gets it, you know, that's one person less who will be struggling. So a coherent brain thinks creatively and is visionary. We've already said this. There will be less fear, hopefully no fear of the future. With training, there will be no fear of the future, because the creative mind creates anew in every moment of now. And the present moment is the natural state of your mastermind, not thinking on the past and thinking about tomorrow. So let's go here. Life transformation through brain coherence. That's really what we are talking about. Brain coherence opens the door to a new personality. It opens the door to literally a fresh identity. And you begin to create your trading through intuition. We've said this before. Intuition and vision are the benefits, if you like, of brain coherence. And that the two together lead to creativity. In fact, you know, it's actually, you know, the 3 are together. It's a bit of a triangle: intuition, creativity, and vision. And the whole package is called effortless flow. And you, no doubt, you've heard about flow, read books on flow, but this is basically what creates the flow energy. So when your brain is coherent, you also experience your spiritual nature, which is the seat of all creation. And in this harmonious state, you access amazing amounts of information, and that will be very, very good for your trading, because you'll just see more on your charts. So to sum it up, spirit is the invisible force of all creative source energy, and you are a natural creator. We've already discussed this, and we have discussed that spirit, which is the subtle energy field, is the origin from which all of your creations flow. There ultimately is nothing else. So becoming aware of your source energy, you have to become aware of your habitual thoughts and emotions. And you got to get over this thing. 3 losing trades is the end of the world. It's not. If you understood that you are the channel for which all creative energy flows, well, you know, sort of you would be living from a very, very different perception. And you would know that your true self is creation if you could experience this. So you create, as we said, continuously. Ultimately, you are born to create. The moment something is finished, you do something else. Desire is a good thing, because desire is basically nothing else but a part of creation. It's nothing else. It's wanting your creative side to be fulfilled. And if you trade like this, you are in flow. Yeah, look at the news. FOMC needs to be looked at when it's on, because it changes market behavior. But ultimately, the calm mind sees the entire universe and it adjusts its trading rhythm automatically. There is not that old-fashioned hard work. Now here is another chart, very, very simple chart. This is what I look at first thing in the morning, always. It's a daily chart, actually, of the S&P. Just a couple of moving averages, and just taking in, you know, and you can see here, you know, it's very clear. You don't need anything else. So, you know, we know it's in this no-go zone. It needs to break either above here, below here, probably move sideways a bit more if we take time into consideration, and, you know, we'll adjust our trading strategy accordingly. It's about expansion of consciousness, and that and self-awareness, and that improves responsiveness to your trades. It makes your mind more alive, and then you have more choice. And if you can tap into the collective mind of all traders with a calm mind, you can trade. I've already said before, this is not an AI job. It's a matter of turning into the inner eye. So the mastermind chart reading formula is: the mastermind sees the entire picture quickly in all time frames, all market cycles. The mastermind uses the whole brain. It is in coherence and processes information with the left and right brain hemisphere. The brain in harmony versus the brain in disharmony from the HeartMath Institute. This is how we come to the trading desk, most of us. Okay. To get from dualistic to coherent mind, you have to enjoy the act of non-doing, and you cannot be in the lower energy of unconscious value conflicts and want to make $1 million at the same time. It just doesn't work. So finally, you want to learn skills that you can remain in coherence while you trade. It's no good sitting on a cushion and, you know, being in la la land. You got to do it right now. The tools are transformational guided meditation. Practice self-awareness while you trade. Practice divergent convergent focus. It's something I teach in the transformational guided meditations. And practice thinking in abstract terms. That again is something you learn in transformational guided meditation. And here we come to my special offer. Right, I have decided to put something together for you, which I assume that most of you don't know who I am. So basically there are 2 packages which you will get for the price of one, which is a 50% reduction in price. And with this, you will have the basic, the very basics. If you do the work, if you follow through with this, you will have the basics to turn your trading into something quite different next year. So if I would say to you, if you just spend the next 2 to 3 months working with the Improve Your Trading Mind online trading psychology course, I've given you 6 months membership of the Transformational Guided Meditation Academy, so that brings you even into next year over the difficulty of the holiday period in December and all this. Guys, I can assure you, if you do the work, you will come away from this as a different person. Now, quickly, what have we got here? The trading psychology course includes a document where I explain universal laws, how they pertain to trading, and obviously how you use them. And then you have 15 audios between 15 and 20 minutes, 25 minutes each. We are looking at how to overcome trading fears. They are very practical, actually. What to do while waiting for trades. Addressing issues like perfectionism, self-doubt. There is an audio on how to meditate. There is actually one meditation video in there. I say video, it's a, I think it's a come on, say it, MP3. So visualizing your trades and various other things. Basically, all traders do the same things. We are all the same. We have the same issues. And they may express slightly differently, but ultimately I'm no different from you. You are no different from me. The only difference is I have been doing this work for a long, long time. I have coached for a long, long time. So that gives me a chance every time I coach. Well, I learn myself because I get to repeat what I too need to remind myself of every day, what to do to remain in peak performance. And that's how you create change ultimately at DNA level. So again, the special offer, you'll receive 6 months transformational guided meditation academy. It's a live meditation Monday morning, very early at 6 o'clock. On their website, it says 7, but I had to move it on, make it a little bit earlier because people have to go to work. And then I have got the Awaken, the Inner Master Trader membership after that. Mind you, of course, you can also join that if you want to, but if you are interested in that, I want you to please send me an email because I want to speak to anybody before they join this. So again, this is the special offer. You'll get it for $495. If you go to the website, products, buy the first product, which is the the Guided Meditation Academy. It's the first product on the product page, so I put it there. It's the easiest. I'm making this offer available for only 10 orders. So if you have any questions, or if you want to sign up to my newsletter and updates, I do webinars regularly. I mean, please send me an email. Any questions? I'm always happy to have a chat on Skype. If you're interested in coaching, send me an email. We arrange a chat on Skype. So this brings me to the end of my meditation, my meditation presentation. I'm sorry I went through this very, very quickly. Please watch this again. I had to do this too because I really wanted to go through everything. There is a lot of information in here, particularly if you're new to this. But I just wanted you to have a full, the full educational material so that you have a chance to go over it again and take it in, which I really encourage. So, okay, do we have questions? And if we do, how do I get to them? That's a good question. I have to say I have never used Zoom before, so maybe I can have some help here if Anka is there.
Hi, Mercedes. I am here.
Hi. Hi, Anka.
I am telling you, like, your presentation is absolutely amazing. Those of you guys that are here know, and I mentioned it, that I followed Mercedes for a very long time. For years, I have followed her, and she's amazing. And Mercedes, it would bring me great pleasure to promote your material, because the psychological part of basically trading is almost 90% psychological and
It
only
is.
10% method. Exactly. And everybody is running into the perfect strategy, into where do I put my entries, and they forget the emotional connection that is behind the trade, where in fact every trading course should start with psychology. And I think I'm not wrong by saying this. So guys, you have to take my word for it. Mercedes is one amazing woman that can literally unlock your earnings potential. And I'm not saying that lightly. And Mercedes, I'm going to talk to you later. I want to make sure that I can, that I have, you know, your approval to share all the information that you have shared today with my traders, and for them to contact you. And if you can extend, you know, the seats available in the future for a future course for my traders. I mean, this comes like an amazing, let's say, not a bonus, but in continuation to the trading education. And in fact, this is amazing.
Thank you so much, Anka. I should be absolutely delighted to share. Please share anything, and I'll be very, very happy to do a special deal for all your traders as well. Well, we communicate via email and things, and
Absolutely.
discuss that further. And, you know, thank you very much for having me on here today. It's been an absolute pleasure. I love doing these presentations. I really, really love it.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. I know that we have been going back and forth for some time now, and I think since spring, and you finally cleared up your schedule. Mercedes is usually extremely busy, guys, so she doesn't really have time to rip off her busy schedule to do a presentation, and especially on a Saturday. So she's a very active trader, and she coaches a lot of traders. And I'm telling you, like, Mercedes, you know, it's always great. I think I'm going to step in, and I want to refresh all my, you know, all my mindset, because we do need to reset our mindset for trading. And once, even the most advanced traders, guys, I mean, you have to have a coach, a mental coach that can walk you through. If I don't know if you guys have watched, we still have a couple of seconds here, and please keep your questions coming if you have any questions. I don't know how many of you guys watch the show Billions. If you could type it here in the room, how many of you guys watch the show Billions, which is an extraordinary show. I find that it's really fantastic. But they do have a hired trading coach, and it's not for the method. Hey, Elizabeth, it's not for the method, it's for the mental state, because you need to be in the right mental state in order to trade. So that is incredible. So let me know, guys, do you have any questions? Any questions? Lawrence, you can contact Mercedes directly to answer all your questions. The email is Mercedes at thebuddhisttrader.co.uk. It is right here on the screen, so make sure you send an email with all your questions. Are there any other questions? Any other questions? All right, I'm pretty sure it was so much information, Mercedes, and everybody needs some time, you know, to
I'm
sink
sure,
in.
yes. And I spoke very quickly at times. I'm very aware of it, Anka. And my apologies to everybody for this, but, you know, it's there in writing as well, and everybody can go through it again, which, you know, I hope people will do.
Oh, of course, Elizabeth is saying, and Elizabeth, we've known each other for so long again.
Yeah.
Elizabeth is saying, great presentation. And we should do more of this, because
Definitely. I should love to, Anka.
Yeah, once we have the method and once we trade, like you said, sometimes, our brain separates, and we really are focused on that little momentum in time and not really putting everything together.
Yes, and you see, the thing is, if I just may add this, Anka, that's the problem for all of us. We are not aware enough of it. And the problem is, once you do something stupid, whatever that may be, you have already been that long in the program that it becomes very difficult to pull yourself out of it. And it's learning techniques and the transformational guided meditation technique, which I teach and have developed for traders, by the way, especially. It helps you to do exactly that, that you begin to notice the moment something changes inside and you become a little bit antsy and you become, that little bit self-critical. It's the beginning of an old program being triggered. And you need to know this, become aware of this in order to stop it in the moment.
I agree. Thank you so much, Mercedes, for being with here today.